In this video, let's see if we can derive the firm's supply curve on the basis of the graph we already used in the previous video to find the firm's profit maximizing point. Okay, all right. The first thing we would like to say here is the supply curve. Recall what we or how we define it back in chapter 4. We said that this is a curve, tells us the one-on-one relationship between the price and the quantity, right? And at each possible price, how much producers are willing and able to sell. Okay, so that relationship can be shown with a supply schedule. It's a table, right? Or a supply curve, which is a graphical representation. Okay. All right. So here, let's start with this profit maximizing point, point A. Excuse me. All right, and we said before that each buyer or seller on the perfectly competitive market is a price taker, right? So individually, they have no influence upon the market price. However, that doesn't mean all buyers or all sellers together cannot influence market price. Okay, they actually can. All right. So for example, here, let's see what's going to happen if the price changes. Okay. Now you probably want to ask, how could the price change in this case? For example, okay, if something we already discussed before, if there's a new study coming out, okay, saying that eating more green has the health benefits. Okay, so this will change people's preference or taste on the green related products. Okay, so people would buy more, which would increase the demand, and that in terms leads to a shortage on the market, and the shortage will push up the market price. Okay, now for example, suppose the initial price is P1, okay, and then the price increases from P1 to P2. Okay, now once again, let's move our discussion from the market-wide to this firm specific. Okay, for this specific firm, the P2 is again a straight line here, right? So here it's MR. Oops, I'm sorry. P2. Okay, let me put this back. All right. So for an individual firm, it's still a horizontal line. It's still a flat line. Okay, it still has no influence upon P2. Okay, but what we find is with a higher price, the firm could produce more, right? And the profit maximizing point is moving from A to B here, right? So instead of producing Q1, now the firm can produce Q2 to maximize its profit, right? Now, suppose under a different scenario, let's say the financial crisis hits the economy, okay? And that lowers the consumer's income or household income economy-wide. Again, it's not just one consumer. It's all consumers on the market. Their income are lower. Okay, so here we would find that with the lower income, they're gonna reduce their demand. Okay, and then there will be a surplus on the market. The surplus will lower the market price. Okay, let's say so the market price is P3 here. Again, for this individual firm, let's let's write this new level, okay, MR equals P3. So here it should be P1. Okay, and then another straight line. Okay. Under the P3, we find that the profit maximizing point for this firm is moving to C, and then the firm should cut its output to Q3. Okay. Now here we already give you 3 different points, and you would be able to find that all 3 points are lined up on this marginal cost curve. Okay. In other words, here to find the supply curve, we said we want to find a curve showing the one-on-one relationship between the price and the quantity, right? Surprisingly, we already found it. It is the MC curve. Because again, here point A shows the one-on-one relationship between P1 and Q1. Point B shows the one-on-one relationship between P2 and Q2. Point C shows P3 and Q3, right? So you could imagine that, if you try other possible price levels, you would find all the points lined up on MC tell us the whole relationship between the price and the quantity for this product. Okay, so our conclusion is the MC curve is the supply curve. Okay, all right. So here again, let's draw the conclusion. So what if the market price changes? Okay, now the graphical details we already discussed, right? The conclusion is the marginal cost curve and the firm's supply decisions are, highly related. Okay, and do we need to know the total cost or average fixed cost, average variable cost, or average total cost is? No, we don't need these. Okay, probably your common sense would tell you that, to figure out how much the firm would like to produce, then we have to know, its fixed cost, variable cost, and total cost, so that we can have a better idea of, how much it could produce or where it can maximize its profit, right? But again, from this video and the previous one, what we learn is because the rational firms make the decision at the margin. So the only thing it leads to figure this out is marginal revenue and marginal cost. Okay, with these 2 marginal variables, it is sufficient to figure out, number 1, the profit maximizing point, number 2, the firm's supply curve. Okay. Now, logically, you would find that, these 2 are kind of highly correlated, okay? Because, the firm's profit maximizing point would be, the place where the firm want to be, right? And then that will give us, the quantity, the specific quantity level the firm would like to produce. And the quantity and the price are, what we need to figure out the supply curve. Okay. All right. So here again, the conclusion is the MC curve is the firm's supply curve. Okay. Now, on the next video, we are just gonna again make use of the graphs to show you the profit or loss a firm has or experiences on the market. Okay, and you would be able to find that, to be able to figure out the profit or loss on the graph, we do need these cost curves we learned in the previous chapter. Okay.